Hello and welcome back to the Film Bros podcast, and this is episode 2. I am one of your hosts, Sam Hogarth.
And I'm Rich.
And today we are going to be talking about our main subject. We're going to be talking about is the circular nature of film. But first, how you been?
How have I been? I've not been too bad since our intervening kind of episode.
Yep.
Not been too bad. Obviously, work, life, it's all shite. Hopefully, seen some good stuff. And yeah, I've seen some shit. So,
Of course.
What about you? How's the things been?
Yeah, good man. Yeah. Again, just working, trying to be creative. Just finishing off a short film at the moment called Locked In.
Because if people don't know, we are also filmmakers as well.
We absolutely are. Yep. And so I've just been finishing that off. I can't speak today. It's gone already. And I've also been finishing off the making of documentary, which is now edited, and that will be released soon, I guess. It's going on a short festival run. There's no premiere status for anything, so hopefully sort of next month or so it should be hitting my YouTube channel. And watched anything good recently?
Oh my days, what have I watched lately? I'm trying to think. I wish I'd done the research. But oh my god, other than The Shield, I'm watching a lot of The Shield at the moment because I've been hankering to rewatch it, and I just felt like it's one of those shows that I watched as a kid. I kind of dropped off for no real apparent reason. Got back to it, and I'm devouring it like a damn good book. So have you been watching anything lately, or anything you would like to recommend?
Yeah, I mean, I watched... what did I watch? I might have to look at my Letterboxed. I watched Rules of Attraction recently.
Sponsor, yeah.
If only.
Letterboxed.
But yeah, I rewatched Rules of Attraction because obviously R.I.P. Mr. James Van Der Beek.
Yes.
And he's so good in that film, Rules of Attraction. I actually, after rewatching it, I don't actually think it's as good as I first watched it.
Really?
Yeah, I gave it 3 out of 5. So it's okay, but I love Shannon Sossamon in it.
One of the most underrated actors that has ever existed.
I think so, absolutely. And James Van Der Beek is fantastic in the film as well. Directed by Roger Avery, of course.
He delivered a real kind of symbiotic relationship like Christian Bale, because he's actually, his character is the actual biological brother to Patrick Bateman from American Psycho. And a lot of people don't realise that because
he's Sean Bateman.
Yeah. So yeah.
Right, I love that. That's actually really cool. So yeah, I watched that and I rewatched Mallrats. Kevin Smith, and absolutely loved it. It's I do well. They're fresh and but run, fat ass, fly.
We support the House of Smith here, don't we?
We absolutely do, and I think he's such a underrated filmmaker, and he's just a filmmaker who just has fun, and you get that from Mallrats, and I love like the bit as well when
his later movies, he knows his lane and he just delivers.
Absolutely, but like when Jason Lee. That is Jason Lee, isn't it? Yeah. And he's like, the damn kid's on the escalator again.
I don't know about you, but whenever you see a kid on the escalator, do you say it
absolutely,
externally?
Yeah.
I definitely do.
Absolutely, like 100%. Like, I think it'd be rude not to if you don't do it. But no, cool. So before we get into our main topic, we have seen we've just had the BAFTAs. That was
my god, yeah.
As we're recording this, it was basically the day after the BAFTAs.
Yeah.
Actually, no, 2 days after the BAFTAs. Sorry, because BAFTAs was on Sunday.
Yeah.
And we're recording this on Tuesday the 24th. And
are you dating us? Oh my god.
I am, yeah, because this will be released a little bit after, just because,
Yeah,
So,
production schedule and everything.
absolutely. So Richard, do you have any initial thoughts of the BAFTAs?
I think I kind of, when you brought this up to me about talking about the BAFTAs, I also wanted to do this as a divergent, hopefully not too long, but into award ceremonies. I did not watch the ceremony, just to make that clear,
I did.
because I think these award ceremonies are a bunch of old guff. I think if you're attending in person, I think that's great. But to sit there and watch 3 hours when I can literally wake up the next morning, I don't have to watch any embarrassing skits. I don't have to know anything. I can literally look up on the official website and in 30 seconds know who's won. As in terms of surprises, no real surprises except Wunmi, who won for Best Supporting Actress. I thought she was that was brilliant, and I swear, winning Best Actor, Robert
Arameo.
Yeah, I genuinely thought he did fantastic work. I'm so glad Britain has supported that film, and I'm so glad BAFTA have supported that film. But Paul Thomas Anderson winning, I thought was really, really well done. Obviously, he's had such a long, illustrious career, and I'm glad he's winning not only as what would be described as a sympathy kind of awards season, but it's actually, you might disagree because I know your thoughts and opinions on the film, but I think it's actually a film that deserves to win. I think it is a film that's really relevant. It's beautifully made, and I think it's very, very poignant. And I'm just happy that he's finally being recognised as the landmark filmmaker that we'll remember him for.
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah. Sorry. How did you feel about the BAFTAs? I remember.
No, you're so good. I liked it. Like I said, I did watch the ceremony. I understand what you're saying about award ceremonies because they can be very self-indulgent and all this kind of stuff, quite embarrassing. I think they've just lost their place at the moment, but I think that there will be something to kind of reinvigorate them. And I think personally as well, they're just not as relevant right now. But when you see a bunch of millionaires self-congratulating themselves in a room with art that is, I mean, we're not in an age where we are lucky to be rained upon with fantastic films and whatnot. I don't think we are. I know Paul Thomas Anderson in his sort of acceptance speech said that the difference, basically like the opposite. And obviously he's more a professional. He probably knows, obviously he definitely knows way more than me, and he knows he's probably more right about it. But I think the quality of films now are worse than they've ever been. And I think we're in a real kind of lull of kind of filmmaking in general. And when you've got like a couple of films that are like decent at like the Oscars or the Academy Awards, I think that's worrying. And also when like films like Weapons, for instance, which actually was really good this year, that was actually produced, or last year should I say, who then don't get nominated, I think that's then there are problems with selections of like who goes up for these awards and all that kind of stuff. But I actually kind of enjoyed the ceremony, sort of talking about the ceremony itself. I didn't like Alan Cumming. I thought he was dealt a really kind of weak script. And I really missed David Tennant because I thought he was really good last year, the last couple of years that he's done it. And I just thought that just whenever they tried to be funny, there was just silence. And it was just really awkward. And really didn't like that. I loved Paddington giving out the award for best family and children's film, like the kind of animatronic one they're doing for the stage show. I thought that was a really nice touch because it's a very British thing as well. But again, there was no real kind of reaction from people when that kind of happened, and I was kind of surprised. Like no one was kind of really getting into the show.
Yeah,
that's the problem that I had found, that they tried to put on a show, and you kind of found that the people in the room was not giving that kind of energy of a show.
I felt the same with the Golden Globes, and
so something's happened to award shows.
Yeah, but to just bring it back to some of the points you've made, which I do agree with. I think we've also got to notice that the lack of respect for the industry in these award shows where they're spending a good percentage of the runtime on gags, skits, musical dance numbers, and things like best musical score is being played, given out during a commercial break. I think there is a lack of respect. I think what they need to do, record the ceremony, and then they need to do a 2-hour broadcast either later that day or the next day, and it just shows every person winning and the interstitial person saying the next award is this. I think that's all it needs to be, because I think it's, like you say, it's not winning new people over. I think the only person who's come in that's reinvigorated it is obviously Conan O'Brien, who's coming back for the Oscars this year.
Yeah, I do agree with that, and I agree as well with like pre-recording it as well, because I think then also people can have more fun with it, because I think when it's live, people are kind of like on their best behavior almost, it kind of feels like, or they have to be. But yeah, I think well,
plus if any incidents happen, you can easily
cut them out and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, absolutely. But then also, if you do have more showy bits, you can actually like
edit them down.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or take them out if they don't work, or build it as an edit and all that kind of stuff. But in terms of awards itself, obviously the biggest shock of the night was Robert Aramayo winning Best Actor. He gave a wonderful speech, and I love that his dad basically like tackled him when he kind of got up from his seat, and just like, it was such a beautiful moment. It really was. And in a category filled with performances that are all getting kind of like, well, a lot of them getting Oscar buzz, like Leo, Timothy Chalamet, Michael B. Jordan.
Been a great year. Especially for male performances.
Yeah, well, those three in particular, personally, and then obviously Robert Aramayo's performance in I Swear. If anyone's seen the film, you'll know how special his performance is, and I think it is a really special film as well. I Swear as well, and I do urge anyone who hasn't seen it to go see it, because I think it's fantastic. And I don't actually think it. I mean, it's a shock in terms of he's not as big a name as Leo or Timothy Chalamet, who's going to win it. But the BAFTA does tend to kind of come up with some shocks, and I do, where like the Globes and the Oscars tend to kind of like
follow suit, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
BAFTA supports British film.
Yeah,
and I love.
Yeah, for sure. And the thing is that I don't think Robert Aramayo's performance for I Swear is any less deserving as anyone else in that category.
No.
And
it's I think a lot of people, especially because America hasn't seen it yet, so hopefully America, when you watch it, you understand it and see the importance of this film, because it's going to become a national icon.
I think so. It's going to become a classic, like for British film. Absolutely.
Just to see that, when people talk about flashy and big performances, this is it. It is a scene stealer. But at the same time, what makes this so special is that it's nuanced and delicate, and it doesn't feel like Robert De Niro in Cape Fear. He's not chewing the scenery. He's giving you a big performance, but that's because of what the character demands. And yeah, well deserved.
Yeah, for sure.
Back to you in the studio.
And then, so personally, I was shocked that Tiana Taylor didn't win Best Supporting Actress. I thought she's hands down, from what I've seen, obviously, of the categories. I've not seen Sentimental Value, so I don't know the Norwegian actress. Sorry, I can't.
Renee Renata?
Maybe. I can't remember her name. So I've not seen everybody's performance in that category.
No.
So I was surprised to see Wunmi Masaku, hopefully I'm saying that correctly, win for Sinners, because I thought Tiana Taylor made one battle after another, in my opinion. I thought that without her energy in that kind of first act, the film has no energy, it has no launching pad. So personally, I thought it was a shame that Tiana Taylor didn't win the BAFTA. I know she's already won the Golden Globe. So
you in for the Oscar.
probably, but obviously, Wunmi is also British, so supporting British talent again, which is incredible. But in terms of like the best performance, in my opinion, I think it's Tiana Taylor.
I'll be quite honest with you. I actually think it was a really nice addition to and mix up on the award circuit. I mean, the thing this year is it's been quite play by play. So to see that, and it was a performance. Again, you may disagree. I think it was a performance that deserved it because, again, she's the heart and soul of that film, and without that performance, that film kind of lacks a little something.
Are you on about for Sinners?
Yeah, for Sinners. Because again, I really do love and appreciate what she brings to it, especially near the end of the movie as well. I think that I thought it was a really special performance, and again, it's BAFTA always does that. I think they always, like you say, it's not just celebrating things, but they British cinema, but just able to throw in a few curveballs here and there. Whereas the Golden Globes have become more like the Oscars, and the Oscars this year will, I think, be the most boring of any. And I'm hoping if Conan's back, which he is, that he will make it an event, because everyone will know that it's one battle after another. I think the only category that will cause a stir, I think, is Best Leading Man. I don't think there's any other one, because I still think there's a race between Michael, Timmy, and Leo, and I do think Michael's in it. Again, will he be up there with them? I don't know. But after the controversy now from obviously BAFTAs, will that play into into him? Again, we don't know when the voting closes. What's happening?
Yeah, well, the difference with the Oscars is it's a campaign. So the thing about the Oscars is that it loses value, in my opinion, because you campaign to win. It's not because your performance is based on merit. It's because it's based on how many votes you can acquire. And it's from, as we heard from Honora last season, that Neon spent apparently $14 million in just their Oscars campaign to try and get votes to win. And it's like, the film is tremendous and it absolutely deserves, in my opinion, like the awards that it got for Sean Baker, for Mikey Madison, and Best Film. But it doesn't feel... it doesn't... absolutely. But obviously, One Battle really cleaned up with Best Film, Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Director, Cinematography, all like the major awards, really. And
how do you feel about that?
My favourite of the awards contenders is Marty Supreme. And I think One Battle is it's a really good film. However, I don't think it's Paul Thomas Anderson's best. I don't even think it's the best of the year. Obviously, my favourite is Mighty Supreme. I don't think Sinners is that good either. I think Sinners is good. I don't think it's incredible. I think there's a lot of problems with the film, personally. But, I'm glad Paul Thomas Anderson is getting some recognition.
And Ryan Coogler as well, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But I do feel that this could be like The Departed, almost, like, for Paul Thomas Anderson. It's not his best film, or The Revenant for Leo. He wins it for his kind of like not his strongest film, but it's just it's there to kind of put that marker on his career, sort of give him the Oscar sort of thing. And it feels a little bit like that with PTA, especially with Best Director. It feels like, because he's not won that yet.
No.
So it does feel that way. Again, I could be completely wrong, and something like Ryan Coogler and Sinners comes out of nowhere. So we have had shocks at the Oscars. Like obviously Honora last year, and wasn't expecting Moonlight as well.
Especially
like
Madison, because Demi Moore was
the
winner.
Yeah. But I think One Battle is obviously the front runner for the Oscars, which makes me a little bit sad. Because I think Mighty Supreme is an incredible film.
And that's weird, because me and you on both kind of polar opposite ends of the spectrum on that one, aren't we?
Yeah.
I'm not a massive Marty fan. Don't think it's terrible.
Mm.
But does it deserve to win? Not really. But
I disagree. But
no.
I
again, that's
yeah.
again, this is film, isn't it? Whereas I love One Battle After Another. I connected to it so heart and soul, bound to the material. Whereas it's been the other way for you. So
I think also what's kind of gone under the radar is Sean Penn. Kind of because he won Golden Globe.
Strong.
He won the Golden Globe. He's now won the BAFTA. He's probably a shoo-in for the Oscar. Yeah. And I do love his performance as Colonel Lockjaw, which is such a hilarious name. Yeah. But like, I think I wrote in my Letterboxd review that like his performance in that is the definition of acting. It's individual. It is like it's incredibly unique. It's incredibly individualistic. Like he actually creates a personality, a walk, and like the way he combs his hair and everything. Like it's just everything is so singular, and I can't think of another performance.
No.
Of recently that's been like that.
Yeah. I mean, anybody who says Seaman Demon like that deserves an Oscar.
Yeah, absolutely. One other thing I was just about to say about the BAFTAs, and this is the end of my kind of like thoughts on it, was I was really shocked that K-pop Demon Hunters wasn't even nominated for Best Animation.
Yeah.
Where then some film called Boon, something like that, won for Best Animation. Not even Zootropolis 2, which again, like you'd expect the BAFTAs to kind of go against the grain a little bit, but for K-pop Demon Hunters to not even be nominated is a bit of a surprise for me, because it is the standout of the year.
Could be that they've got a bit of a grudge against Netflix, because
yes, quite possible.
I know a lot of the film festivals, Netflix can only really play in Berlin. They're banned from Cannes. They're not really doing a lot over there. And it's... I mean, again, because it never also got theatrical, that could have affected its eligibility. And again, we're in this really weird zone with film, which brings us to our topic, really, doesn't it?
That is a lovely little segue, Richard. I'm very impressed.
I've been waiting.
We're only 2 episodes in, and we're already nailing these segues.
Yeah.
So, brings us on to our main topic of today, which is talking about the circular nature of film. Yeah. Richard, do you want to kick us off?
I do, because this is the one I'm going to lead, guys. So, I do apologise. I am just a face for radio, so you're going to have to see and hear a lot of me on this one. Basically, whenever we talk about this, so we as a film community have been talking about this for years, ever since the advent of television. And I do think we are on the precipice of the most seismic change in the history of cinema since its creation, and sound. I would probably say them too. Maybe TV, but we've had little shifts along the way, obviously with 3D and everything. But my question to you, Sam, is film dead?
No, absolutely not. I think it's just in need of a renaissance. I think like it's having some health problems right now. I think, but I think it just needs a renaissance. And I think the filmmakers are there, like Sean Baker, like Paul Thomas Anderson, who are craving originality, and like even like Joachim Trier, who did obviously Worst Person in the World and Sentimental Value this year. There are filmmakers out there fighting for originality. Even Ryan Coogler, I'm not going to obviously sort of discredit him, and even like Chloe Zhao and great female filmmakers as well. They deserve credit as well. And Caroline, who did Fougere, who did The Substance. There are original filmmakers out there with incredible voices, and I just think that they need to be heard. And for me, it always just comes down to the studios, and that they are just too scared of losing their jobs, which is why they back IP. They go for as low risk as possible. But then I think that, as I kind of said in our first episode, was that like I think when I was talking about the moment, audiences want swings, they want originality, they want people to take risks. We don't want to see Scream 7, like no offense to Scream 7, but we don't want to see Saw 10 either. Like we want to see like Forrest Gump. We want to see Back to the Future. We want to see these original films again with original voices that take risks. And even like at like people like Steven Spielberg, who even though it's, you know, like he kind of built his career, I guess, a little bit on IP with like Jurassic Park and other things like that. But then there's films like Saving Private Ryan and Schindler's List, which are based on sort of like true things, but they're original stories within that. Obviously, Oscar Schindler did exist, but that's my point. Is that like we want to see original films again, and I think that the film industry is struggling because I actually found a statistic actually the other day. Is so out of the top 50 grossing films of last year, how many are original films that aren't already based on IP?
Is it a percentage?
No. So just guess a number. So like that aren't based. 4. And they are Sinners, Weapons, Mighty Supreme, and Materialists. And they are one. So that's why I'm like F1, for instance. I'm discrediting that because it's already an established IP which has a fan base. These are completely original films that have zero fan base going in.
Yeah.
4 films out of the top 50. That's disgusting, I think, as an industry. Like, obviously, those films are still making money, obviously, which is why they're in the top 50. Like your Avatars, your other MCUs, and like your horror sequels like Five Nights at Freddy's, they do well. But the originality out of that top 50 is scarce. And that's very worrying, I think. Yeah.
Because I disagree. I think
I'm actually shocked. Like, what? Okay.
I genuinely, and I've been mulling this over for a little while now, and I've been listening to a lot of the industry people speak, and I think I mean, just listening to you, 4 out of the top 50 films of last year are original.
Top 50 grossing. Let's be clear about that one. Yeah.
Be grossing. But let's be real. Like, we are in an era where traditional cinema, which is the question, traditional film is dead. And I genuinely believe we are there because the money's there, but what's going on? And I think the confusion around streaming is horrific at the moment. So you've got streaming movies that are going to theatrical, like Mercy, you know. Somebody had said that would be a great Amazon Prime movie, but it's getting a theatrical. And even then it doesn't do enough box office to warrant the theatrical. Then you're getting movies going to streaming that would be great theatrical movies. There is just nothing going on within the industry, in my mind, that is guaranteeing me to go. The ad campaigns to these movies are horrific at times. Proper, just absolute diabolical.
Sorry to jump in here, but I think that just comes down to how marketing departments don't know how to actually market films anymore.
Oh no, I mean they've never known.
No, this is it. But like when you see
worse, yeah.
genuinely good ad campaigns, like from Long Legs, or even like back in the day, like Blair Witch Project, or even Cloverfield, like those don't exist anymore. And I think that's down to marketing divisions who just don't know or understand what they're selling. And it's like the films are there. And how many times have we seen trailers recently, even the last year, and then it's then like, oh well, they've missold it, and it's like so many times, and I think that's what then puts audiences off. And it's like, but to continue, just studios just don't understand film.
And I think to continue my point is another great point you brought up, which was about filmmakers, and I don't think we have the voices. I think the people who have the voices, like the Spielbergs and the Paul Thomas Andersons, are lucky to make movies. I think the new voices that are coming through aren't equipped to make movies because of how much content is being made now. And let's be real, it is content. the amount of films I will watch where you're watching these filmmakers make these movies, and again the kind of ineptitude with the way that these films are kind of coming across with, bland color palettes. They're very all the same, generic looking, but they're all coming from first time filmmakers. I feel the craft is not there anymore, and it's worrying to me. And again, this is just an opinion, and it is open to change. But as what and again, you can look at us as two old farts, kind of reminiscing about the good old
Speak for
days.
yourself.
Well, we're in our 30s. Come on, but the idea is that I genuinely believe that where we are now, we are at the end of 120 years, maybe more, of history, which leads me to, with all the changes that have been going on lately, how do you see the future? So how would you see the kind of progression of where we are now?
I mean, it's only going to go one or two ways. It's either the thing is though is that studios will kill cinemas, and because that's why actually cinema attendance is actually up. I don't know if you know that, actually, across the board since COVID.
Oh, really?
But thing is, it's not hitting pre-COVID levels. It's only going up from post-COVID levels. So more people are going to the cinema, but the thing is that it's the films that are coming out that are then killing cinemas, because people don't want to see those films. So it's the studios who are putting the money out there into the shit IP with continuous Jurassic World films that no one wants to see. Well, actually, clearly some people want to see because it make
Indiana Jones 5.
Yeah, yeah, like for sure. So, and when you kill cinemas, then you kill jobs, and then you basically feed the streaming machine, and that's exactly what, in my opinion, we don't want. We want a live cinema experience, and to experience things with people around us in a theatre. Like, that's why people go to the theatre, for instance, to experience that electricity, and that's what you get out the cinema as well. You don't get that from streaming, and that's, I do fear that's where it will go. But streaming is not a viable model, though. Like, how many times have we seen that, like, Disney, like, sorry to bring back fucking Disney Plus again, but they're like, well, it's just not profitable for us, like Disney Plus. So it's like, well, if streaming's not profitable for these companies, what are they doing? The only one who's actually making money is Netflix. So it's then, well, we have a monopoly on streaming then, and it's just Netflix and the rest, which we currently do anyway. So that's the kind of negative point of view of it. But the plus side is that we have a renaissance of independent films. The mid-level budget film comes back. We actually, get bums back in seats with films that people actually want to see, because we know there's stories out there from people. It's just studios don't want to actually greenlight them. And the ones that they do greenlight, these, I was actually having this thought the other day. Like, even I look at what like BFI produce. Like, we had this conversation a little while ago about like things like Scrapper, and what was another one? How to Have Sex, where I kind of felt like they were really safe, and they're not like testing or challenging an audience enough. How to Have Sex, it does challenge an audience in terms of a conversation about consent. In terms of storytelling and character, like, it only tests you on a theme, and it's like, that's not enough to bring an audience in.
It feels like a first film. Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
it feels like an experiment.
Absolutely. And that's the problem with those kind of films, is that, like, just films are too safe. There aren't swings. There isn't really a lot of, like, huge amounts of creativity, in my opinion. But that's where then people need to be braver, like A24 are being. Like, even like Markiplier with doing Iron Lung, he made it for $3 million out of his own pocket. Bought the rights to this indie game, and it made 21 million. And it's like, this is the future. I think it's actually these more boutique, smaller studios doing their own thing, because you're seeing A24 now go into, I guess, quote unquote the mainstream. You know, they did The Moment with Charlie XCX, who has massive brand appeal, a massive audience who can sort of reach lots of people, and you know, I think that's a film that has done well. Correct me if I'm wrong, and will do well. And I think then like Neon with Anora as well has done really well. Neon continue to do really well in terms of what they're investing in, and there's some exciting horror films they're doing this year. That one with Zazie Beetz, I think, Neon.
No, that's Warner Brothers. They Will Kill You.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
They Will Kill You.
Fair enough. I stand corrected.
That's
But
fine.
But again, that's a good example because that's a film that looks exciting. Like Weapons was exciting,
Visually exciting.
Yeah, and that's where I want to see filmmaking go. I want to see interesting voices take creative swings, but I need studios to invest in them.
Yeah, and I mean, from my perspective, I think we need to lose the it's going back to female Ghostbusters, Ocean's 8. Where we need to just leave the dusty old white men IP alone, leave that at the back door, and why aren't we getting people to come in and make refreshing IP, new IP? Why can't we? And why are we always like milking all that? It just feels like everyone's out of step with everyone. It doesn't feel like that, and what do I think will be its future? I'm going to drop a real hot take here. I genuinely don't think the cinematic experience will last much longer. As it stands, I think new films, potentially all that, will move to streaming. You might get a couple of first-run theatres, so like an Odeon or a View in the UK, they will get a Star Wars movie and they will get it for a week or two. But I think where the real money and where everything lies now for cinemas will be the retro screenings, because that's the only thing that's saving them at the moment. And whilst me and you can argue, because I mean, I don't want to see Scream 7. I don't want to see a lot of the films that you obviously kind of were talking about. They're going to make money.
Yeah,
and that's
of course.
That's the sad fact of it. Like that's the sad fact of it. Even though
Scream 7 could be good.
Yeah, I mean, even though the fact that they've teamed up with an AI company in the most diabolical cross promotion, they have had all that bad press, obviously surrounding Melissa Barrera and obviously Jenna Ortega leaving. And I genuinely think that the public shenanigans will always be undermined by a rabid fan base. They will look the other way if it means that they get the kind of thingy, because apparently they're already working on Scream 8. That's what I've been hearing. But for the moment, and I know I'm talking really kind of like apocalyptic here, but I genuinely do believe that I think we will end up with cinemas all around the country, even the big multiplexes that will become like your Prince Charles. I do think a lot of these retro screenings are drawing lots of people in. I went to see Rocky Horror last year, and I don't think I've seen a more packed screening, more enthused screening than when that was playing. And I think we were all on the same page. We were all laughing, raucous dancing. And it kind of leads to another part of the question, which is, with all this kind of money now being chucked into IMAX, the Sphere, and other kind of large formats, specialist formats, do you think that that's a viable way to go to kind of get around this problem we seem to be having with streaming?
Yes and no, because the scarcity of IMAX films is quite low at the moment, and I think that unlike with when the 3D boom hit, every fucking thing and its mate with 3D, doesn't matter what it was. It could be a dog shitting in a park, that was in 3D. It was everywhere, and that's just not, and it just got boring really, really quickly. But what you see now is that there's scarcity of it, And that's where, like, I like what, for instance, like someone like Chris Nolan is doing, who is really championing and pioneering IMAX. But we don't want to see it all the time.
Yeah.
And I think that's important. And then same with the Sphere, which I'm guessing that's what you mean is the thing in LA.
Yeah.
Where
Vegas,
it's the
Because obviously,
it looks incredible, and like
Yeah.
I know that they screen certain football matches on that as well, so it looks like you're in the stadium, which seems like pretty cool. I don't know. Again, like I don't think that's going to be something that. Again, there will be scarcity, won't it? Like, there's not going to be like there might be one that comes to London or maybe Manchester, like a big city like that. But you're not going to see it in like Norwich, like where we are. You're not going to see it in like smaller cities or anything like that. But that's a good point though. But like, I just think that those things are just gimmicks to sort of get people in, and I don't think they'll necessarily sort of like change things. No. It has to be bigger than that.
It's got to be the stories.
It has to be the stories. It has to be, and it has to be studios. As well.
Because the reason I brought up the Sphere is obviously because of the use of AI on the Wizard of Oz and the actual recutting of the film as well. And I think as an experience, because I first heard about it through The Matrix, where I think that they'd used like an AI barrier around it, but to enhance the picture. I think I saw the
video of that. It looked really cool.
So like when the helicopter crashes into the building, the whole building ripples around, and I think that's interesting. But why are we turning movies into roller coasters with like 4DX, where you're having to wear raincoats to watch a film, and you're having to be tossed about to enjoy a film? And again, that's part of the reason why I guess I'm skeptical about where we're going. And again, I reserve the right to always be wrong, because, and often not that I am wrong, but the way I'm reading everything at the moment does just feel quite, it's the end.
You're feeling a lot more cynical about the future than... Yeah. So you don't actually think that the kind of like renaissances of... Is that even a word? The pluralization of renaissances? Renaissance-I? I don't know what it is. But you don't see like another one like from the 70s or the 90s, that kind of like the indie boom of the 90s, for instance, or like the kind of...
We're in the indie
boom. The new auteurs from like the 70s, like your De Palmas, your Scorseses. You don't see like that kind of like cultural impact happening in a different way now. So not necessarily in like we're seeing it in indie boom in terms of indie labels like A24, Neon and whatever, and Blumhouse doing quite well. However, in terms of the actual film, like film storytelling and filmmaking, because I also completely agree with you that like every film, like not every film, but so many films, especially from independent filmmakers, look the fucking same, and like the same color grades, desaturated. And also what I find depressing as well, they shoot on like 8K cameras and they put a film grain on it. Shoot on film then. Shoot on film, like it'll look better. Like,
I mean,
how does the Lord of the Rings hold up now better than a lot of films that are made on 8K, 12K, 24K cameras, and they look worse now. Like they look worse now.
I think that there is a lot to digest there. I think we're in the indie boom. I think we're in the television boom. I think we're in every single thing you mentioned. We're in the boom of. And I think that's the problem.
I think we're coming towards the end of the TV boom, because like Game of Thrones and like the kind of like premium TV. There's not a lot out there, because like we now have obviously like
it's
the spin-offs,
scarcity.
But yeah, sorry to interrupt you then, but like in terms of my own opinion, I do feel like there will be something that has to happen for it to survive, and I'm hopeful that thing will happen, whatever that looks like. But I just don't know what that is at the moment.
I think
I'm hoping that there's another boom and a renaissance, but I think that the boom is storytelling. And because the talent's there.
Oh, I'm not.
I'm not saying you're not saying that.
No.
But then the people behind the money, the gatekeepers, have to give that money to people to actually make those things happen.
Yeah, I think the problem is again, what kind of drew me to this question was more, we're dragging up dead IP, like if we're going to go for TV, like Scrubs, like Indiana Jones, and we're marketing for children of today. They don't fucking care. And then the people who went and watched those movies don't care. So again, we're making and spending a lot of money and a lot of time and a lot of energy on shit that is literally shit. Who's its audience for? It was like in the previous episode, like I mentioned with the I Know What You Did Last Summer. I think we are in just a weird spot where everything's booming. Like TV production's booming. I think we're getting all this indie material booming. We've got all these streamers booming. You know, I know Netflix is the champion, but where's it going? Like, what is happening to all this material? And where is the production line of people going into like an education on film, like craft of storytelling? Like one film I saw recently, which I found was great, and it had just been buried. It's called Oh Hi, and it's a different take on a rom-com. But if I hadn't have seen that it had played a Sundance Film Festival or found it through something, I would not have known about that film, and I would not have seen it. And I think that's the boom as well. The boom of forgotten films. And I just think we need to just take a step back, because I think what's going to happen is, if we imagine it as a bridge, the bridge is going to collapse. Now, you were talking about storytelling being the kind of saving grace. I think somebody will come out on top holding that flag, but I think we are going to see a really big crash, because there's nowhere for it to go. If you think of like what is being made, how these companies are making their money, because I genuinely don't know. The only way I can genuinely think of how they're making any kind of profit, if any profit, is they must be working for the Mexican cartels. I'm sorry, but I know I'm joking in this time, but like some of the losses that they must be reporting, and again, what chances do these films have? And one thing I kind of wanted to bring back was, we'd obviously had a massive run of serialized storytelling like the MCU, and kind of it was competing with television. Do you still think that that's a viable way to go? So we're making films like TV shows, or TV shows like films, or where do you think that kind of all fits in? Do you think it needs to be dropped, or?
What do you mean, sorry?
So sequelized storytelling. Do you think that that's an interesting way to go in terms of making films, or do you think,
when you say sequelized, do you mean like
the MCU? So
yeah,
it is one storyline continued over multiple films, spin-offs, properties, because I still feel we're in that zone of it. And do you think it is a viable avenue for creative arts?
I think there is a space for it, but I think there aren't many real kind of IPs that fit that mold.
Yeah.
Right now, I think just there are so many studios out there that want everything to fit that mold, and it's just not possible. Like we've been hearing rumors from Amazon about Bond as well, that they're going to be doing TV series as well, like about Bond and that universe, as well as films, and even potential spin-offs as well, which really worries me. But this is what conglomerates do. They're not a film studio, it's a conglomerate, it's a corporation. They're not trying to serve fans like Disney did with Star Wars. We will flog this dead horse until it's got fucking nothing else left to give. And you've essentially then killed your audience, you've killed your IP, and you've ended careers, you know, and even Kathleen Kennedy's ended her own career because of it as well, and that's a real problem as well. But I think there's not many properties that can survive in that kind of space. Sure, you know, some can, but it's very rare, and it takes a very special IP to, I think, survive that kind of like cross pollination, you know, sort of structure, I guess. But yeah,
No. I would imagine I'm with you on that one, because I think a lot of what the MCU's done has been, it's been done to death now. And I mean, we've even tried like with the Universal monsters, we've tried with everything. And the thing that killed it for me with the Universal one was it could have easily continued, but you just make a slight course correction. The humour of Tom Cruise's Mummy was the one thing that killed it. If they'd made it scary, because there was a couple of great scary moments in that, if they'd focused on that being the aspect of it, would have been fine.
So do you think, as a question to you then, like, do you think then physical media will come back? Because we are seeing a boom with like Criterion, we're seeing a boom with other boutique labels as well. And also we are seeing the younger generation who are taken to places like TikTok to share films, and also delve, not be present with filmmaking, but going back and watching films. That's why things like Letterboxd has exploded as well, and you're seeing people like influential people like Sean Baker, Charlie XCX on the platform as well, share, and even Edgar Wright sort of sharing like, you know, fantastic recommendations about older films, and older films are becoming way more popular again. Do you see that maybe as more of a just current, as you sort of said about retro screenings as well in cinemas, like that's become quite popular again, and people also trying to take themselves away from streaming and sort of trying to consume media in a more organic and more organic way.
Yeah, I mean, personally for me, great question, by the way. I think
You're welcome.
It was, but genuinely, because it's like physical media for me has always been a part of my life, and I always feel very, very biased when I talk about it, because I love the idea, I love the curation, and I miss places like Blockbuster. I do agree with a lot of people that there is just too much. I've limited the amount of streaming services I allow myself, and even then, that's still too much choice. I love seeing the youths, I will call them. I love seeing
the youths,
because again, it's multi-generational kind of names, and you know, I love seeing them that they're now going onto these social media platforms. They're promoting charity shops. They're promoting DVDs. People of my generation are gone, we're going to do it as the streaming, and they're picking up the slack again. Hopefully this is a warning to the studios that their back catalogues are important. I hope that this is a warning to the boutique labels that the work that they are doing is important, and I would hope that they get to lower their prices at some point, because some of them are fucking extortionate. But saying that, we are getting films back and the love of films back. But again, to your point, which you made, we are focusing on films pre-2000, or at least 2020. That is a fucking travesty. Why? And I'm not saying every film post that is awful. Heck, we enjoyed One Battle After Another. We both enjoyed Marty Supreme. We might feel strongly or indifferent on it. We might,
same with Sinners.
Sinners
we both enjoyed Sinners, obviously to different degrees, but we both enjoyed it.
We could argue the finesse detail.
Yeah,
but
of
let's
course.
broad stroke it for now while we're here. The fact is, there, you know, to Paul Thomas Anderson's point, good films are being made. You know, and we can be cynical about it. Like I've just been cynical for the last half an hour.
Yeah,
but there are good things being made, and it's great.
I think there is less, in my opinion.
I think that there is less things where if we look at older films and older studios, there would always be a film that felt like it was made for you every single year, maybe twice a year. Now it feels like you might get, that maybe once every kind of couple of years. There's something that comes out. I'll be brutally honest with you. I have not been to the cinema since Marty Supreme this year. I have had numerous chances.
Was that this year you went? Yeah.
I went very early in January, and we are near the end of February. And I'm going to be brutally honest with you. Do I see myself going to the cinema anytime soon? Not really. And even though there is a retro screening coming to my local cinema that I would absolutely love to do, will I go? I don't know.
But my question then is, why is that specifically? Is it because of the selection that's out there? Like
there
the
is
films?
Nothing grabbing me.
But then that's sort of, you're backing my point up with that, like there aren't films out there or being produced by studios that
it's
and that's where like
yeah.
I know it's a complex thing, because also like taste is complex and all this kind of stuff, but I think that I just don't, when Paul Thomas Anderson says like great films are being made, like they absolutely are, but not in the abundance that they have done.
I wouldn't even say it's the abundance. I would say that if we look, say on average a year, 200 films are being made, 50 to 100 are great, good to great.
I disagree.
No, but where I argue that, where are they? Are they going to the cinema? No, they're being buried on streaming services in the middle of nowhere, or they're going straight to pay PVOD.
Yeah.
And that is where I've been, like, through my platforms, I've been recommending to people, get Apple TV, people. Get Amazon Prime. You can wait. You can rent them. They have sections where they have offers. And you're not paying $19.99 or $15.99 to rent or buy a movie. You can pay 99p, $1.99. And this is where, again, kind of bringing it all circular back to Letterboxd, where if you put it on your watch list, it will let you know when and where it comes to a streaming service of your choice. So you've got
fucking love Letterboxd.
Yes, we
fucking love you.
And you can do that all through your settings. But you, unfortunately, instead of having it delivered to you like we've had in the past, you've now got to be more of a detective. And do I think after this conversation cinema is dead? Who knows? But it definitely won't be the same again. But one thing I would love to hear from you is, because I don't know, I will see if I'll respond to this, but how do you think the future of cinema will go?
That's a really big question. I think it's like I sort of said before, that I'm really optimistic about the future of cinema in general, and I just want to see investment. I want to see investment in original stories. That's what I want to see. Creativity on the screen. I want to see voices like that you wouldn't necessarily see, and it's like that's what I want to see. Like for me, like that's what I love so much about Mighty Supreme. It's like a dude chasing a dream, and it's like it's really inspiring and all this sort of stuff. And like something like Sinners as well. Like it was just
big, like bold, direct
absolutely,
stories,
yeah. But even like The Substance as well. Like not leaving. You know, that is something like. I need to rewatch The Substance, to be fair, as well. I watched it in the cinema, and that is a film to watch in a fucking cinema as well. Everyone was freaking the fuck out. Sorry, I've been swearing a lot then, but it was incredible.
Yeah.
Like when it goes down, people are going, "Oh no!" It was incredible. Yeah. And like I watched it Picture House as well, so it's a different older clientele. Yeah. They were not expecting the stuff that went down, and it was wonderful. And it's like, and that's a filmmaker taking a really bold decision and creative risks and big swings. I mean, I'm keep repeating myself now.
Yeah.
But like, that's what we want. And I think that if studios get their act together, and start investing in these kind of voices and these kind of creative swings. And as we've seen, The Substance was a massive success.
Yeah.
Like, it got Oscar nominations, deservedly so. It's done really well on Mubi. It's earned its money. It's done really well in cinemas as well. And for a fairly low budget film, it's had three incredible stars in the film as well: Demi Moore, Margaret Qualley, and Dennis Quaid.
Yeah.
And it's like, fair play, and you know, those kind of people need to be applauded, and we need more films like that.
Yeah.
That's what I hope we see.
Yeah.
Whether we get it or not is a
even
completely
if
different story, and that's something that I don't think anybody can predict.
No.
But I do worry that if we don't get those voices, then that is a real. I think we will start to sort of see the real decline in cinema. And one other thing, actually, I do want a quick question. Actually, is part of the downfall of cinema blockbuster fatigue?
I don't know if I would put it as blockbuster fatigue. I would definitely put it more as we are stuck in a rut. Do you know what I mean? And one thing I was going to say, one thing.
That's why we're here, Richard.
We're here. We're here, John, to comment on it. But the thing I really wanted to bring up, which is because you brought up a great point of like A24 and Neon kind of being the saviors. I actually think they're going to be part of the downfall, because and again, I reserve the right to be wrong, but simply because I see A24's growth, and they're becoming
a big hitter.
They are now focusing themselves on being a major player in the studio market, and it shows with the quality of the material. It may be original material, but it's star-studded material that I don't think quite works in terms of, you know, I've always had a bit of a love-hate relationship with A24. And I think Neon's going the same way, but they're focusing more definitely in the genre sphere. But what was interesting to me, and kind of gives me hope, bringing us back to kind of at least a more positive end to this, which is three of the main people behind Neon left, and they've joined Warner Brothers to create a subdivision that is focusing on indie film. So again, Warner Brothers taking it back to director focused stories that are original, and these are going to be more mid-budget movies.
And they had an incredible year last year, and I can't remember who the two guys are who now run Warner Brothers, but
Mike DeLuca, but I know that there is somebody else, Pam.
But they became the first studio for decades to have 9 films in a row that made a profit.
Yeah,
and it's like, with Warner Brothers are paving the way for this. This is what they're doing now. Yeah. And they're trusting filmmakers like Ryan Coogler with his unique deal that he got for Sinners as well.
Yeah.
To deliver on these things. And so it can happen. And Zach Cregger with Weapons, they did that. Yeah. They trust these people. And that's what actually happened. So like Warner Brothers are the proof that audiences need.
Yeah. And that kind of leads me to the kind of end of this, which is, do you think, obviously with everything going on with Warner Brothers and Netflix and what's happening, do you really think that we will end up with another year like last year, like with what Warner Brothers had, or do you feel that that's it now, that was the kind of last grasp?
No, I hope it's an upward trend. I hope that then other studios, because they will take notice that like 9 films in a row that made a profit, because you got to think as well, those films that Warner's produced weren't all just indie, you know, like unique films with new filmmakers. Superman was a part of that, you know, part of the DCU.
They had their finger on the pulse of the audience.
Absolutely. But what they also did was brought budgets down just a little bit, but they still made really good films that made money. That is so crucial, like, that people just don't understand. And it's like Disney, like, let's just take Snow White as an example out of thin air, for example, okay?
Yeah.
Not like I've been thinking about Snow White for fucking eternity. That the film costs like 300 million, like including marketing and all that other stuff to go with it, and it can't make its money back at all. Like, it will probably be 50 to 100 years before it even makes any money. Where like you carefully manage budgets with films that then you trust their filmmakers, like Weapons and Sinners, for instance, that they become profitable even with marketing. Same with Superman as well. You're not spending crazy money like what Disney do with Marvels and everything as well. Like, we'll spend $1 billion and it'll be fine. No, it's controlled, it's thought about, and that's what it feels like at Warner's at the minute, and that's why I'm excited by them. So I'm actually kind of sad that also this then goes into the potential acquisition with Netflix as well. Is that they're on such a good run that the actual Netflix acquisition could ruin it. And that we actually could be on the cusp of a new renaissance, that Warner's are leading, and actually having a legacy studio like Warner's kind of do that as well is actually quite nice to sort of see that. Sort of leading a potential renaissance, but it could be killed by streaming, and not in the way that we think. Not because films will go to streaming, it's because
a streamer will own it.
A streamer will own it. So it's really.
But do you prefer that over the alternative of Paramount?
Why, I want Warner's just to live its own life.
I want to, but
I would rather Netflix than Paramount.
Yeah.
That's
okay. Because again, I just thought that
because Ted Sarandos has also recently softened some of his kind of very explosive thoughts and opinions about what he would want to do with Warner's, which has been really nice actually. So he's more interested in having the cinema experience and keeping it alive, and not just having films just flung to streaming. And
that's it. I've always felt if he kept it separate, Warner's was its own thing, and they made the movies they were going to make and left it alone, but it's a Netflix company, and Netflix were able to do their thing. And then you cross-pollinate.
It's like Disney and Fox as well, because Fox are kind of left alone, and Fox actually do really good work. And it's
Even
kind of left alone.
Pictures,
Absolutely, but even like Fox with like The Roses did really well as well. I know it's a remake, but it did really well in the cinemas. I'm trying to think of other things, like obviously like Poor Things has done really well there, like with Yorgos and
I've had a fruitful relationship with him.
For sure. And it's like you want to see, and that's what I hope that happens with Netflix, is that basically Warner's will just become a division of Netflix, and that they'll just leave them alone and just let them do their thing. And Netflix, also, as we know, have a history of that. They leave people alone. So I hope that continues.
That's a great way to end this.
I think it is. And so thank you, Richard, for a chat. That was really good.
Thank you, man. It's been good.
That has been very good. And that will bring us to the end of episode 2 of the Film Bros podcast. And Richard, where can people find you on social media?
You can find me as Rich the VSC. I am on Instagram, and I'm on TikTok, and even Letterboxed as VSC.
And which stands for?
Video Store Clerk.
Amazing. And you can find me at Sam_D_Hogarth, spelled HOGGARTH. Or you can obviously find my production company, Rogue Studios, which is what you're watching this on YouTube. If you are watching on YouTube, thank you very much. And at Rogue_Studios_. And that will bring us to the end of today's episode.
I think you're forgetting something.
Okay, what am I forgetting?
We gotta recommend stuff.
Shit, we have. Okay, I'll move this to the end. Okay, so Rich. As we did at the end of the first episode, we will do recommendations, and if you don't mind me going first, because your recommendation is always better than mine. So if we'll go, I
think that's a crock of shit, but you are entitled to it first, considering you are the youngest. Yes.
Thank you very much. So my recommendation this week is Mallrats. So I recently rewatched it on a DVD of all things. Do you dare to believe?
What is a DVD?
It is like a CD, but you put it in a DVD player,
and it's a digital versatile disc. Get it right.
Well, I was just being really sort of facetious and just explaining, like, you put it in a DVD player, and instead of audio, you get pictures as well. That's what I was going to say, but you ruined it. Thanks for that. No, appreciate it. But it's Kevin Smith's second film, I believe. Yeah, thank you for the nod of approval. And so I have it on DVD, and I think it's such a great follow up, like to Clerks, and I think
because me and you watched it without the kind of the real kind of people. The negative reaction to it at the time, we found it quite late in his filmography.
We did,
because I think we'd seen Clerks, maybe even Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. That was we were kind of out of order, weren't we?
For sure, yeah. And but I think it's absolutely hilarious. I think Jason Lee in it. I think just the whole cast really do a really, really good job. And there's like these brilliant side characters like Ethan Suplee trying to like look at the mind
puzzle,
mind puzzle. That's thank you. And God damn it! And then like it's so quotable, like as well, like fly fellas fly, and like the damn kids on the escalator. Like obviously these are quotes I said in the beginning of the episode as well, but it's so quotable. I think Ben Affleck as well in it is I think it's one of his underrated performances, playing that kind of tough guy. And
the back of a Volkswagen.
Yeah. He likes to fuck people in uncomfortable places. What? Like the back of a Volkswagen? It's so good. Love it so much. And but yeah, that's my recommendation for this week. Yeah. And Richard, what have you got for us?
Well, considering we've been talking about the industry, what's been going on in the industry, I really did feel we needed to talk and recommend something based on the industry. I have none other than Bob Evans' autobiography turned into motion pictures, The Kid Stays in the Picture. So if you have seen The Offer on Paramount Plus about the making of The Godfather, if you've seen the making of The Godfather on the DVDs, Blu-rays, whatever, there is a famous bra salesman called Robert Evans, and he became an actor by brute force. And one famous line from Daryl Zanuck, the head of 20th Century Fox, was "The kid stays in the picture," and it follows him taking over Paramount, an actor taking over Paramount and producing Love Story, Rosemary's Baby, The Godfathers, Chinatown, you name it. Every major success of Paramount over the 60s and 70s was pretty much him. And it is a absolute raucous wild ride, and if you don't quote Bob Evans as Bob Evans, then you are not living your best life. Great documentary.
Awesome, thank you very much, and be sure to check that one out. And have you got another recommendation, or is it just the one?
It is just the one today.
Just the one. Okay, cool. I'll do another another outro just in case. Should I?
No.
Nah, fuck it. I'll leave it.
It was perfect the way it was.
Okay, cool. Well, then that's it. Thank you for watching and listening.
Thank you very much.